Hi Winnie, I'm gonna give you some feedback and some tips on your project. First of all, this is looking awesome. You're doing a great job blending. Just keep working on your contrast. Okay, so contrast is that light to dark difference. So make sure in your picture where things are super dark and black that you get those. So for instance, in the mouth, we want to get more darkness. You started to, but you want to add more darkness in the inside of the mouth. So adding that in there, and then just darkening up those lips a little bit more. Because what the contrast will do is look at the gloss, that glare on her lips. If you don't have that dark, that light is not gonna pop the way you want, the way we need it to. Okay, so go in and just give everything just a little bit more darkness, okay? Don't be afraid to push that a little bit more. So just darken that up to let that have a bit more contrast in there. Okay, and the same thing with the bottom. And then when you're looking at the nose, you really need to go in there and darken up those nostrils, and then this shadow that's coming here, that's all gonna go just a little bit more dark, because without that darkness that you're going to add in here, you're not going to be able to see the tip of her nose. Okay, so then and I'd widen, see how this angle is coming down? I'd get that angle to come out just a little bit more. Get that slant right there. Okay, yours is coming a little straight. Okay, so that'll just shape out her nose a little bit more, but adding that shadow, really deepening the shadow up here. Okay, so don't be afraid to push that darkness a little bit more. Okay, getting just a little bit softer on this side. Okay. Now, when you're ready, your question was about the eyelashes. Now, she has quite a bit of makeup on. So I'm gonna zoom down a little bit here. So you're doing it right. So you're doing everything but the lashes first. So we want to go in and just finish up here. So she has a pretty wide lid. Okay, the space between the top of the eye and then the crease here. So we want to bring that up, bring that over, and you kind of have that shadow there. We're going to add that in. Okay, and then the shadow from her makeup right here, that's going to kind of extend up to the lid. Okay, and she has this light area right there. So then you'll take and you'll soften that out. Soften that shadow over there in. Okay, so you're keeping that lighter area in the middle. The actual lid's pretty light too. Okay, this crease is pretty well defined in there. Okay, now the lash line, okay, so not even looking at the pieces going up, just looking at the top edge of the eye. Okay, so that's a combination of her mascara, her lash extensions, and her eyeliner. You're gonna get that pretty thick on there. Okay, and now that whole shadow, I see you've added it, but again, like I said before, don't be afraid to go a little darker with it. Bring that under the eye, really get that smoky eye that she's got going. And kind of soften that up a little bit. Okay, so when I'm blending an area like this, I'm not rubbing. I'm kind of just doing little taps or tiny little back and forths. And we can bring this up and soften that in. Okay. And if that's too much in the eye, let's see. Nope, when we soften it out, I think that actually looks good. Okay. Go on in. I might darken in just a little bit here. Because as you work, you're going to notice that things that you started off dark might lighten up as they go. And you might find that you need to darken them out a little bit more. Okay, so before you get to the lashes, this point's pretty good. I'm going to try to see if I can get it to the thinnest, pointiest point that I can. If I can. Oh, that's a little better. Okay, so lashes. When you're doing the lashes, you don't want to just make lines like this. Okay, you want to think of them as little hooks. So they get a little down and a little up, almost like a check mark. Because this little hook is going to come from the inside of the lid and curl out. Okay, so the lashes to the left are gonna curve out that way. The lashes in the center are more upright, and then the lashes on the inside are gonna curve out this way. Okay, so I'm gonna start on the outside here. And they're very, very thick, so in some areas they look like they cluster together. So in that area, I'm actually going to just kind of make them a little more solid there, and then I'll just flick the top where they separate a little bit. Okay, they start to separate a little bit more in the center. And then they get shorter as they come to the inside. And you wanna just, it's hard to get a really thin line, but you wanna try just to get the thinnest line that you can. Okay, so hopefully that gets you started with your eye, eye and your mascara and your makeup and all that stuff. If you're ready to move up to the lashes, again, I would do this skin first on the forehead. That way, once you do the lashes, you're not smudging them. But just as I said with the, not lashes, these are the brows. As I said with the lashes, look at the direction that they're going. Okay, these are angling out, and then they're kind of turning this way. So just make little marks about the length of the hair within that area. Okay, but again, make sure you do the skin above first. Okay, and if I want to just gently soften those, I can just kind of tap on them. I don't want to rub them away and make them feel like one giant fluff. Okay, hair, I'm going to give you just a little bit, not too much, but because you'll be ready for that after you do the face. The first thing I would look at with her hair are the really dark spots. So looking down here, filling in nice and solid, that black, where that goes. And again, your photo that you chose as your reference is stunning as far as contrast goes. So it's perfect for this project. So where it's dark, really, really power in that darkness. Okay, so the black's gonna come down here, and then it's gonna start to fade. So I'm gonna start to lift my pencil up and then really lift it as I come down here. Okay, good morning. Okay, and then I'm gonna finish here. And then I'm gonna take and I'm gonna blend that. I'm gonna blend that out, pull that down. I'm gonna keep pulling. Okay, now this isn't blending as well on my paper as it will on yours. Okay, your paper, this is just printer paper, so it's not giving me all the details that I need. So if I need to here, I'm gonna darken that back in. Now you're gonna use your eraser and you're going to lift out these highlights here. So I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna lift those. I'm gonna lift those up. So I'm just drawing with the eraser of my pencil to bring those back in. Okay, and if I need to go back in, back and forth to get some kind of definition in between, I can do that, because it's hard to get thin with your marks with your eraser, but you can with that pencil point. So you can go back in and layer on there. Okay. Now the top of her hair, where we have these soft, kind of softer gray values, like up in here, that's when I would start using just the dirty end of your blending stump. And let's see what that does for you here. And using that as your base, you bring that in. And again, making the marks in the direction that it goes. And looking at where it goes darker and lighter. And this will start giving you just a nice softness that you can then layer on more distinct marks. Okay. And if that's too harsh, take the clean end and sweep it. Okay. And then you can go in and you can say, okay, I'm seeing just a little bit more definition. I'm gonna go super duper gentle because I don't want it really, really dark. So I'm just grazing the surface. Then it gets light here. And a little bit more darkness back here. Okay, and then I'm going to soften that up. So again, I'm not going to rub it a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of dust over top of it. Okay, now if it's too dark, if it's just a little too dark, you can leave it. And just over time of working on your project, it'll soften up. But if it's too dark for you there, you can take a bit of your kneaded eraser and you can lift it a little bit. Okay, you don't want to take it all away, but if you want to just lift a little bit to soften it and lighten it, you can do that. Okay, just get a big section of hair done before you really kind of make a judgment about it. Okay, so I hope that helps you get going with your portrait.